Are you an entrepreneur or ready to become a boss? Welcome to Hawaii Boss, the business podcast made in Hawaii, where you will hear from island movers and shakers on who they are and their impact on our state. And now, step into the office of your host for Hawaii Boss, David Pettijohn.
Aloha, Hawaii Boss crew out there listening in again. This week, we had a really great opportunity to speak to Mark Bowden, who's the president of TruthPlane. What does TruthPlane do? Mark has been voted the #1 body language professional in the world for 2 years running. We had an awesome time on the podcast. I mean, the guy is so personal. And why does he have anything to do with Hawaii? Well, he loves to come here every year. He's from Toronto, Canada, and every year he comes and has been coming for a time over to the Big Island. He loves it there with his family, and we hope he comes back soon. But we had a chance to talk about so many great things. The animal brain, we talked about fishes and how fishes react in the world and how we're kind of like fishes sometimes. Talked about how he likes to come over on the winter holidays, and how when we're out and we're working with people and we're talking with people, sometimes we make snap judgments. And he says that most of the time, our snap judgments are incorrect. We've got some things to work on there. Now, he has just been, I learned so many things, sales, how to sell a jacket. Just listen in, tune in, and you'll find that Mark was so gracious to come over here and visit with us on the Hawaii Boss Crew. We bring over some of the best in the world to help you get better at what you're trying to do as you develop your skills and develop the opportunities for work in your life, and that you can become the best boss you can become. Love you guys out there. You take it easy and listen in to Mark here, and hope you can learn something. Take some notes because it's worth it. Aloha. And we are live. Welcome, Hawaii Boss Crew. We've got a little bit something special today. We're going all the way to Canada today. We're going international today from Hawaii Boss. Usually we get in and find the local leaders and find out what's going on as we come out of this pandemic and try to figure out what's going on, putting our best foot forward. But we had to go reach far and wide to find the best resource. We are fortunate to have Mr. Mark Bowden in our office. He's the president of TruthPlane, which is an organization that helps people understand the best way to put your best foot forward and help people. He's done work consistently, leadership CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, prime ministers of G7 powers. It sort of limits down who we're talking about there, I guess.
Yeah.
But, TED Talk, he's all over the place. The internet. Where I came across Mark was at a Zoom call where he was presenting the powers of Zoom and the things that you could do. But first and foremost, Mark Bowden, welcome and thank you for being on our podcast, the Hawaii Boss Podcast.
David, thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure to feel like I'm with you in Hawaii right now, because I want people to have a look around, and my guess is you can already see, some elements here which are, clearly Hawaiian, and I haven't put those just especially for this. If you go and look at any of the videos that I do right now, this is the room that I live in. It's very Hawaiian inspired. This is the Zoom room. This is the Zoom studio. But my mum made these. Out of I got one of those kits.
Quilting kits. Yeah,
quilting kits.
Yeah, that's a official Hawaiian style. Those are very difficult to do.
Yeah. Well, she did a fantastic job with it. And then, when she was successful with that kit, for my 50th birthday.
Oh, wow.
She made me this, inspired by quilting from Hawaii, and it's made out of my old Hawaiian shirts, because I used to visit Hawaii every year for about a month, the Big Island, little ribbon village called Puako.
Sure.
Many of you are going to know Puako.
Yeah.
And that would be our holiday every month, and I collected Hawaiian shirts. These are the I can't remember what brand they are. It's the beautiful brand of Hawaiian shirt that a lot of film stars.
There's Hawaiian shirts. It's almost this is the business. This is dressed up in Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, you got a particularly nice one there. But anyway, she made that for me as well. So anyway, great that you'll have me there in Hawaii.
So you have this connection to Hawaii. You keep coming back. There's something special about it. So that's why you have this this connection. We'd love to have you back. I'm sure there's some businesses here, as they find out more about TruthPlane and what you do, they're going to want to have you back some more. So, but first, let's talk about you, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And this is sort of a specialty field, I would say, that are people that are very good at it. You've been voted #1 body language professional in the world for 2 years running. That's so. Where did you? What was your first job?
Yeah. Okay.
Was it like this? Were you doing something like this or something? Let us hear it.
No, not at all. I probably had a first job like many people out there had a first job, which was actually in sales. The first job I ever had, 15 years old, selling satellite dishes door to door, okay, before the broadcasters had ever started broadcasting via satellite.
Wow.
So I think I sold a couple just basically on the idea of, well, you want to be well ahead of your neighbors. You want to look like you're far ahead. You want to see that satellite dish on the front of your house.
That's
so
like
everybody
5G
can
now,
see.
huh? 5G.
Exactly. So that was my first job.
Okay.
My first job. And then next job was petrol pump attendant. And then working in the shop as well, and running a petrol station. Third job was selling suits. So I still wear a nice suit. But yeah,
do you think that as a clothier, as a haberdasher, as they say, what is you learn? I suppose you learn a lot about relations. You're measuring someone, talking, and finding out what their needs are. So does this when did you start getting the idea that your understanding of relationships with people or understanding how these relationships work and helping people to understand them and have an advantage when they meet with folks? When did that start to sort of materialize for you?
Well, it's interesting. The whole thing about body language, nonverbal communication started way, way back when I was a young kid. Before the age of 10, I was obsessed with the sea and aquatic life, which is probably the reason why I keep loving to come back to Hawaii. There's nothing better than getting in that water, having the waves toss you around, and then snorkeling and getting in under there. I was so amazed by the way the sea moves and sea life moves, and I got really obsessed with movement and then animal behavior and then human behavior.
Okay.
And so that the progression went from there really. But going back to this, the suits and body language. The guy who was the manager, the boss of the suit place that I worked at, he said to me this, and I think this is really important. He said, Mark, the key is to get get the jacket on the guy's back. If you can get the jacket on the guy's back, then it's as good as sold. You're going to sell them something. Okay, you're going to say it may not be that jacket, but you will sell them a jacket if you can get it on their back. And he said, what you want to do is look at the person, size them up. So it's like, oh yeah, I think kind of 40 regular, sir, and then grab that jacket, pull it off. Okay,
they can't deny it.
Yeah, and then just say, take. If they've got a jacket on, say, take your jacket off. So give them an instruction. Or if they don't have a jacket on, just hold it out for them to put it on. Okay. And they will comply. And once they've got it on, just brush down on the shoulders just to relax them. Yeah. Just point them in the direction of the mirror and just say, that looks fantastic.
Yeah, I wish I could get something like that. I don't think I could make that look as good on me as it does on you.
Exactly. So I think what I take out of that is when you're selling, you got to relax people. You got to get them feeling good, because a lot of people, they try and sell through fear. Right. You don't want to miss out, and if you don't get this, think of all the damage that's going to happen. And what this boss was saying, hey, you want to sell through relaxation. You want to sell through comfort. You want to sell through feel good. And this idea of getting the jacket on their back, I think that's true for a lot of product and service. Like, how quickly can you start? If you're trying to sell to somebody, how quickly can you start the work? Like, if you can start the work immediately, so that they get a sense of how it feels, how they fit in with the work.
Yeah.
And then
can you give an example of that?
Well, in our talk today, in our talk today, I'm not going to hold back any information from you.
Okay.
I'm not going to say, if you ask me a question and say, Mark, how do I achieve this? I'm just going to tell you. I'm never going to say, well, David, you and your readers, you and your listeners would have to pay me for that. I mean, I'm just going to give you everything, because I know if I give you my best work and I give it to you immediately, give it to you now, you're going to go, wow, that was really good. And that was just 10 minutes with Mark, or half an hour with Mark, or, that, like, what would it be like if we actually worked with him?
Right.
Like, what would that be like? Does that make sense, David?
Yeah. So what you've done is, instead of saying, I've got something valuable and I'd like you, we need to negotiate through so that you can get to this. First of all, I'm going to let you know exactly what you're going to get. And then if you want some more, then we'll talk about it. But if you hold
exactly
back,
that. Let me give you another example of this, which happened at the market down in St. Lawrence Market, which is in Toronto. I'm in Toronto right now. And I know in Hawaii there's some beautiful, beautiful markets. There's a great one. Is it Waimea, I think, has a great farmers market and stuff. And anyway.
Come on back, Mark. We're waiting.
Yeah, it's all coming back to me. So so I'm down at this market. And I realized there's a lot of butcher shops, and a lot of them sell sausages, but one of them is cooking up the sausages. They're cutting them into small pieces, okay? And they're just making sure you get a little sample of, a hot sausage, okay? Who do you think is selling the most sausages?
Right.
It's them. Right. It's them. Now, you could go, there's other people going, well, no, nobody's tasting my sausage. You're going to have to buy them. You're going to have to pay for them.
Because they're so valuable.
They're so valuable, and people will take advantage of this. They'll take advantage of this one. It's rather like the ice cream store that says no sampling. No sampling.
No samples, right.
Well, I guess if there's no other ice cream store nearby, then you could probably get away with that.
Right.
Probably. Right. Probably. But look, give out some samples, and I guarantee you will sell more. Now, there might be some of your listeners out there going, but I'm not selling ice cream. Right. I'm not selling sausages.
Yeah, maybe a product or service or something.
A product or service.
How do I separate myself and differentiate
myself? And my product and my service is it's $500,000 to buy an element of it, or I get this all the time.
Sample that out.
I can't sample that out. Yeah, it's like, think about it. You can. There is a way. There's always a way to do it. You're just holding back because you're worried about people taking advantage.
Okay.
You're worried. That's what you're really worried about. And if you now view people as great human beings who want to do commerce with you,
right?
And now you've got to go, what is the element I can start with? Is it the conversation where I try and help you arrive at the best thing for you to buy? And I make sure I start that work immediately.
Right. It's a
anyway,
conversation.
I hope that's making sense.
It's about building trust around the product. You can start. You have to be able to. If you have all these things sort of behind walls, and you have to learn how to communicate. But you said something I think that was important. You said sometimes we get afraid. We get sort of and that inhibits us from becoming sort of our better selves, or we miss opportunities because we look at the world a little bit differently. And you've had some in your talks. I've read something about the primitive brain, where sometimes we kind of get afraid of expressing ourselves, or going out on a limb and saying this is what's good about us, or whatever that limit is. What's happening with the primitive brain, as you understand?
Yeah, so all of us have a part of our brain which in evolutionary terms is about 500 million years old. It's descendant way back, prehistoric to fish, essentially. And that instinctual part of our brain which judges the world as positive or negative, as benefit or risk.
Right.
Reality
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight. Right. Yeah. The reality is it's negatively biased. It's biased towards risk rather than benefit. And you think about it, if I think about, swimming under the sea and watching the fish there, is the fish positively biased or negatively biased? I mean, if it doesn't know if that rock is a predator or a rock, do you think it goes, you know what, probably a rock? Well, it could do, but that fish gets wiped out of the gene pool a lot quicker and doesn't reproduce. And that negative bias, that positive bias doesn't get passed down. So we inherit a wholly negative biased instinct system from our ancestors because they survived. Okay.
Right.
And so we've got to watch out for that because, I'll meet you, David, and you'll come into my store, or come into my office, or I'll meet you at a networking, opportunity or something like that. And if no data to definitely trigger in me that you are a benefit,
that good feeling.
A good feeling,
safe feeling, or
safe feeling. David's a great guy. I knew it from moment one. He's a great guy. He's a good guy to be around. I think we could do some business together. I trust him. Okay. If I'm not getting that strong signal from you, I'm either going to bias to a negative. Okay. Well, I don't know enough about him. I don't know. I'm not going to spend any time with him. I'm going to concentrate on the people who are only giving me a positive bias. Okay.
Right.
So we go positive or negative or indifferent. And that's the horrible thing, is that we're going to end up being indifferent to most potential connections that we could have.
We just miss them. We just miss them. We just miss them.
So think about this.
The person, the opportunity in front of.
Think about this, David, because you commute, don't you, onto
the Big Island? Yeah, back and forth to Big Island on the weekends. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, where is it you're doing your work?
Well, I'm in the Diamond Head area where I live and work. Yeah.
Okay. So when you're going through kind of Honolulu, which is, I guess, you do.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's a pretty busy. I've been there. It's pretty busy.
Yeah. It's a metropolitan area. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You probably walk by, if you're walking through there or even driving through there, you will walk or drive past, hundreds of people in a moment, thousands, on a journey. Yeah. Each time you walk through, or drive through, how many of them do you remember?
Well, if I'm looking to buy a car, I can remember all the cars that I'm looking at. If that certain brand of car, I see all of those.
Right.
But if I'm not looking for anything particular, I'm usually focused on work. I sort of miss the whole commute almost.
Interesting. Interesting. So if your mind, what we call your reticular activating system, which is the part of the mind that has a kind of like a radar system and goes, look out for 4x4s.
Right.
I'm thinking of buying one. Look out for 4x4s, or look out for sports cars. I'm thinking of buying one of those. Yeah, I need one of those. Yeah, it'll see a lot of them. Suddenly there'll be lots. Okay. But it misses everything else.
Right.
So we're only going with what our radar is looking for. And so you miss out seeing a whole bunch of really great people. Because, Hawaii's got great people on there.
Sure.
Like, lots of great people. Yeah. Right. And it's not that, like, lots of great people around your home. You've got lots of great friends, lots of great family. Well, all those kind of people are walking through Honolulu.
Right.
And somehow, like, you're missing them. Why?
Right.
Because your radar is set on one thing. So we have to watch out because we miss a lot of great opportunities because our radar isn't open and as wide as it could be a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, so that's the goal, is to expand our radar and to open up and to see things. Well, that's sort of hard to do. How do you slow down for a minute as a how do you tell someone that's, coming up in how do you slow down to see those opportunities? Are any little quick things that, not only quick, but I mean, what advice would you give someone to say, hey, slow down. There's opportunities all around you right now. Just, look.
Yeah.
So
what I call it is recognition, which actually means recognizing, rethinking. You got to think people. We judge you, David. David, you judge me. Everybody watching this, you judge me. You judge each other, and you make those judgments in a fraction of a second. Is this person a friend, an enemy, a potential mate, or I'm just going to be indifferent to them? You've got to take that feeling of indifference, like you're walking along the street. Yeah, not them, not interested, not interested, not interested. They're nobody, they're nobody.
Right.
And you've got to go, hang on, who have I got here? So you start more consciously reading the behaviors that you see, watching the person, looking at the person. But let's even narrow it down, David, because I know, everybody out there is often trying to network, meet new people, find new customers, find new people to work with, new colleagues, new clients, the important people in the business. And you're at opportunities, you're networking, they're either social or they're business. Again, haven't you noticed you kind of walk into a room and you instantly go, not that person, though. Oh, that's the person I want to talk to. They look like the kind of person I want to talk to. And so you spend all of the network meeting just talking to them. And by the end of it, you realize, actually, they weren't really that good for me. It's like,
and then you miss all the other opportunities.
Who were the other 30 people? So we make snap judgments, okay?
Okay.
What I want you to do is reassess your snap judgments. The moment in fact, do this for me today. Watching this, do this for me today, okay? Just notice your unconscious mind and notice when it makes a snap judgment about somebody.
Right.
Okay.
That sounds easy, Mark. Is that easy?
You're gonna have to make it a goal.
It takes practice to sort of.
You have to make it a goal.
You have to register it from the unconscious to conscious. You're like, I need to watch what happens when that person enters the room.
Well, here's the first thing you're going to have to do, David, is you're going to have to recognize that you just had, a world expert in human behavior and body language tell you that you make snap judgments. Okay, and so therefore, okay, you're going to have to recognize I'm right about that. You do.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
And unless you look out for it, you'll never know that. Again, you'll just forget that I said that, and you'll make all those snap judgments. Remember that I told you that. When you walk out onto that street, or you're out and about. Okay. Know that you're about to make a snap judgment. Okay. And that next person that comes towards you, okay, don't make that snap judgment about them. Really look at them. Really see who you've got. There, okay? Here's an interesting one. Maybe stop them. Maybe stop them and ask them a question.
Now, we're all afraid of all this stuff. We've made our snap judgment already, and we've said, no, that one person's, I'm not going to interact. Now we're saying we got to do something different.
Now I'm saying do something different, okay? Stop that person and go, so I'm just curious. I just want to stop you because I'm just curious, okay? And ask them a question. Yeah? Find a question to ask them, okay? To find out more about them and see where that leads. Okay, see whether there was more to them than you thought in the first place. Just do it as an experiment. Because we got some bosses here, okay? And if you are a leader, which you are, okay? If you're a leader, you're watching this right now. You don't do stuff the same as everybody else. That's how you got to do what you're doing right now.
That's how you differentiate yourself.
You differentiated yourselves. You think in a different way. You try that extra bit harder. You do that extra piece of work. That's the kind of person you are. So keep that going and do the extra piece of work for me today, and stop somebody you wouldn't normally talk to because you've judged. You knew you'd be indifferent to them, and see where it goes. Just trust me on that. See what happens.
I'm guessing it'll be life-changing for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, it is. It is, because if nothing, you might not meet the most incredible person on the planet.
Sure.
Okay, but I guarantee you this: they're going to be more than you thought they were. Okay, you're going to find out just how wrong it was for you to be indifferent to them. Your instinct about them was not a good instinct to have. Okay, I hope that's helpful.
So sometimes we're wrong about people, because that's what we have to say. We're not always right about the people that we see out there. So we have to rethink our snap judgments much more ably, I guess.
We're mostly wrong about people because we have this negative bias. Look, your instinct is in it for you. Okay, it's in it for your safety right now, your life and death safety right now. So look, by the way, if you're walking along a street, okay, and you don't have a lot of power, like it's maybe, by that I mean, like it's dark, so you can't see very well.
Yes, we're not.
Or
safety first.
Yeah, safety first. And you get a bad feeling. Okay. This is not a time to go, I'm going to rejudge that assessment. No, keep on walking. Keep on walking. But if you're in a bright street and there's, plenty going on and you're feeling very confident, okay, and you're feeling pretty safe, reassess some of the judgments that you're making to just go, okay, that's not an interesting person. Would never talk to them. Oh, I know that kind of person. That's one of those kind of people.
Right.
You're putting people in boxes.
Yes, I think we do the same thing even with our compatriots at work and our coworkers. And that's maybe an opportunity too. Maybe there's someone at work that you haven't connected with, that you need a deeper connection. You've already created a negative bias about, oh boy, they're not doing so well in their position. Well, when was the last time you talked to them to understand what was going on? Maybe there may be some opportunity there.
So take those opportunities, and I use the thing of curiosity. Okay. And you can have it in your body as well. If I'm not curious about you, David, then I'll close off my body to you. I'll look at more interesting things around me.
I won't stay on your computer and keep on your computer.
This is somebody. But if I'm curious about you, I open up, I lean forward, and I ask you questions. I don't give you answers. I ask you questions.
Okay.
And so that's the way I get to know more about people, opening up my body language and asking more questions and waiting for more answers. Okay?
Right. Okay.
And it's very easy to start a question because you just go, so I'm just curious. So you just started with, I'm just curious. Yeah. And I might say, maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's somebody I employ, and I don't, I haven't connected with them enough, and I might say to them, so I'm just curious because I really haven't, fully connected with you and learned enough about you. So I'm just curious, like, what do you like to do at the weekends?
Right.
It's like, and then shut up. You already know what you like to do at the weekends. What I want to know is, what do they like to do at the weekends? Yeah.
Right.
And if they tell you something, they go blah, 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 blah. Your next best question is, oh, that's really interesting. Tell me more. That's your next bit. Don't divert it to something else. Go, tell me more about that. Yeah. So if they go, oh, I like to get together with the family and have a barbecue and whatever. It's like, don't you go, oh yeah, I love to barbecue as well. Let me tell you about my barbecue.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, okay,
my
I
family,
thought we were talking about me here.
You were talking about me. It's like, oh, that's really interesting. Tell me more. Like, you can relate to people just by moving more into them, opening more up, and just going, tell me more. Yeah. And if that, and what's your next best question? Yeah. After that, after they've told you more, just say, I really like that. Like, what else? So there's, I'm curious.
Right.
Yeah. Tell me more. What else? And you will find, if you've got really open body language and you're getting good eye contact and you're leaning forward into people, they will tell you all kinds of stuff. Yeah, they'll tell you all kinds of stuff, and you'll go, that's actually kind of really interesting. There's more there than I thought. Anyway, I hope that's helpful, David.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you can use the same technique if you need to go and talk to your boss for a raise. Maybe you're a little bit afraid. You got a negative bias about your boss. Oh, he's never going to be able to. How do you same way? I guess that ask them a little bit more about themselves. Find out about your boss.
Totally. Here's what I do. I walk in, really open body language. Okay, and so great way to do really open body language is open palms at exactly navel height.
Okay.
So I might walk in just like this, and I might say, hey, David. So I just wanted to have a chat with you for a moment because I'm just curious. Under what circumstances do you think you'd give me a raise? So I just ask. Right. I just ask, like, what's the criteria? Yeah.
Right.
So instead of going, hey, can I have a raise? You know, because I know the simple answer to that for you will be, actually, this is not a good time to talk about that. And as a general rule, we're not doing raises at the moment, under the current economics. It's like, you will have a whole bunch of stock stuff that you have said to other people about that.
Right.
Okay. Instead, I go in and I go, so I'm just curious, like, under what circumstances would somebody be able to get a raise around here?
Right.
So I'm not even talking about me.
Right.
But
What's the company
somebody.
policy? What's the company policy?
What's the general, Yeah, it's not me. It's like, I'm looking for some criteria. I'm looking to understand. I'm just curious,
Subtle.
Oh, but they could go, oh, no, I'm not giving raises at the moment. Okay. Now, what I do is I keep really open body language. What does my instinct want to do? My instinct wants me to bunch up like this and go, okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah, believe. Yeah, I get it. Okay. No, I'm not. I'm going to open up. If they say, oh, we're not doing raises at the moment, I go, yeah, no, I know. Exactly.
I get it. I know why. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
I know, exactly. Yeah, I'm just curious, like, under what circumstances will you be giving raises?
Well, then you become part of trying to help find the solution to the problem
right, exactly.
that the boss is currently dealing with. Oh, well, here's what would have to happen in order for
this is what would have to happen. Oh, okay. So if we can get sales, above a certain level, you would be considering raises then, yes? It's like, now they're helping you out. Even if they went, here's the interesting thing. If you went, oh yeah, I know you're not giving raises right now, and I totally understand. I'm just interested and curious under what circumstances. And they go, well, under no circumstances will we ever give a raise. Now that's it. That's useful information, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Because now I know.
You can make a choice.
I can make a choice now because you're telling me I'm never going to get a raise here. Yeah. Because then I can go, oh, okay, I totally understand it. So you're never, ever going to give raises. So I'm curious. So how are you competing for talent against our competitor down the road?
Sure.
Who have I wonder what their system is. So
you're giving him more to think about. You're giving him or her or whatever the person, something else like, maybe we can helping them to open up about maybe some different ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And notice how I'm always being nice and big and open with my body language. I'm making sure the competitor is out there. Okay, we know where they are.
Yeah.
So I'm placing them in your field of vision. Okay, because maybe they're not down the road. Maybe we compete internationally or whatever it is. Okay, so I'm just curious how how are you competing then for talent with our competitor overseas? So again, I place them then means I can come back to them. I can actually pick them up and hold them close to us.
Yeah, now you have another partner in your negotiation.
Absolutely. So anyway, I hope that's kind of useful for you to understand. Always in any talk, be it a negotiation, even an argument of some sort, I'm trying to keep open and curious and moving forward, which is not my instinct or your instinct.
Sure.
Okay? Your instinct when there's negotiations and when there is a critical argument going on or conflict is to become closed and smaller, and now my brain doesn't really want to work at solutions anymore. And as I do that, notice, David, how you're already mirroring me.
Yeah, I'm trying to break through, but the wall is there. It's palpable.
Yeah. But even if I say, David, I really want to come to a solution with you around this. Let's talk this out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting that you're open.
You're not getting
to what I have to say right now.
Yeah. But if I say, hey, David, I really want to talk about this. Let's talk this one out. Yeah.
It shows you're willing to interact with the hands.
But even if I say, David, I can't actually talk about this today. Is that okay with you? So notice how you go, yeah, that's okay. That's good. the more open I am, the more you mirror that, and the more you join in on that positive attitude.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
powerful. Very powerful, sir. So, I mean, you've given a clinic basically on, understanding your own thoughts, and also as we're interacting with folks and in relationship to how we present ourselves. And we're all a work in progress. I think each of us have different levels of skill on this. So we really appreciate you offering this to the Hawaii Boss. But we want to give this last bit of opportunity for you. If there's what's currently going on, what is TruthPlane up to? What types of things are you excited about now as we're coming out of this pandemic? Is it better? Are we having better relationships in Zoom? Is it better to meet in person? There's so much things happening here, and we'd love to hear your current take and how we move forward.
Yeah, well, look, over here in Canada, things are starting to open up a little bit more. In the US south of us, things are, opening a lot better. I know for you in Hawaii, things are opening up. And so, of course, we're going to get back to, face-to-face meetings. However, the genie is out of the bottle about how economic and effective virtual meetings can be. So what I'm working on at the moment with my clients, I mean, including Zoom, we're recording this on Zoom. We're talking with Zoom today. I train Zoom's sales force. I train their executive. I'm part of the onboarding program and the sales enablement program at Zoom. And what I'm thinking about, what we're thinking about is, choosing this a little bit more, because actually, David, we've been pretty intimate here. We've had a good conversation here. I feel really confident with you. I feel like I can trust you, and you are thousands and thousands of miles away right now. Your image is really clear. Your voice is really great. Like, we've had a good conversation here. So clearly this can work. Right. And it works, I would say, by, well, here's what I say. Personal is the new professional when it comes to video, okay? So the more personal we can get, the more professional we're going to feel. The more I show you, look, here's something my mum made for me. The more connected we are. And
we're already friends.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to bring that. I probably wouldn't bring that to a meeting.
No, just sit on your chair, bring it to a meeting and sit in your chair.
Right. I wouldn't turn up live face to face and go to David, I brought along a cushion. I wanted to show you a cushion that my mum made.
Well, maybe next time you could try it out, see if it works.
Right. But look how it is easy here.
Right.
I mean, look, the important thing people need to know is that you're in my home right now. Okay, you're literally in my home. David, we've never met before. And on a first meeting, you're in my home and I'm showing you stuff that my mum has made.
Right.
Okay.
That's a deep connection.
That's a deep connection. Okay. And for us, it's been not only a deep family connection, but a deep cultural connection, because, the culture of quilt making is in my mum. I know, for many of you watching this, that culture of Hawaiian needlework, which is so important. Right. My understanding of Hawaiian culture, that connects us. It connects me via my mum to you and some of your mums.
Superficial. It's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And if we'd have met in a Starbucks, which is where,
we couldn't have got anywhere close to this sort of level.
Totally, because those are designed to take away the personal and bring us all under the safe corporate, the safe, like you'll never offend anybody with a Starbucks. Right. It's like, and you'll never really, relate to people with a Starbucks. You might get hyped up on coffee. But
even though you have good coffee, that you have a meeting though, but you're all in the little particular formalities of just meeting and being in this environment. There's no way to sort of break through and be yourself right away. You may have to take another meeting, so therefore less efficient when you're doing these one-on-ones possibly compared to Zoom or whatever.
Absolutely, because I think you're right. I think you put your finger on it there. Like, I don't need another meeting to go, oh yeah, David's a good guy. I can trust him. I don't need another meeting.
Right.
If we'd have met in a Starbucks, I don't think we'd have got the depth of talk that we've had.
Sure.
And if you said, hey, how about we do some work together or whatever? I'm like, oh yeah, okay, well, yeah. I mean, send me a proposal and let me think about that, and then like, okay, we need to meet again and think about this again.
Sure.
I think you're right. This stands a good chance of getting some things done a lot quicker.
Sure. Yeah. When you need to meet, especially at the distance, is just an amazing, I mean, that's just
Totally
worldwide that I have this opportunity to, speak to an international, body language expert from Hawaii, and, you're in your home there, and it does have its advantages. Some of the disadvantages, however, can be that, some people don't have the technological savvy, or there's some, they can't, everyone have the Zoom, background in their room, and maybe their phone doesn't get that good connection. So there's still some limitations, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's all getting better a lot quicker. That's the thing with technology, is it's exponential. I mean, a year and a half ago, our images weren't this good. Okay,
right.
It's already improved.
Right.
Okay, it's already got a whole lot better. Right. So, so if your technology or your connection is not perfect, by the way, it doesn't have to be perfect.
That's right. That also, if it's so polished and you're in, max headroom, all of a sudden everything's, perfect, then, where's the person in the perfection, right?
Right. So we're not looking for high value production. We're looking for high value personal connection. Right. So, this is what I'd love you, everybody watching, to do, is the next video call you do, okay, focus on personal connection, not on an idea of professionalism, okay? Personal connection is professional now. Yeah, okay. So build that just focus on building that personal connection. Mm-hmm. And again, I think you'll get a whole different level of meeting, whole different level of business going on. It's way more economical to be super personal than your idea of video professional when you're in these situations.
Right. We all grew up on video that, it's all produced and very well done. And, you have to be certain school to go in and be, in front of a camera and do certain things. But now it's I would say it's for the people now. Everybody has the opportunity to go and do this.
Yeah. Well, you had to get in the best in their professions to be on camera, because the bandwidth, being broadcast was so expensive. It's like, we're not going to mess this up by getting somebody who might fail.
Right.
So everything escalates in expense. To broadcast was expense. This will cost you nothing.
Right.
It won't cost you anything. I mean, you don't need a fancy camera setup like mine. Look, I'm just going to switch to my computer camera right now. All I do is take this. Okay, I get my waste paper basket. I pour out the waste paper. Yeah, I get this. I put my laptop on top of it. I readjust this. There we go. Okay,
you're like a pro. Yeah, right. And every computer's got a camera.
Yeah, every computer's got a camera. You just need to raise it up to eye level. Okay, that's all. Okay, do that, and connect with the person. That's what professional is. Connection with what you have. Anyway, I hope that's been useful for you, David, and everybody watching
Mark,
today.
This whole time that you've spent with us has been amazing. We're excited at the Hawaii Boss, so we're going to bring this to all of our folks over here. We hope you come back soon to the Big Island.
Of course I will.
And if it come to Oahu too. Anyway, you get over here, and I'm sure there's lots of companies that would love to have you come. And there's big companies over here, and we're all trying to rebuild. They may need some more help from Mark Bowden on how to make their culture and their interactions with their other companies. So they may need some help here. So Mark, I recommend to all the folks in Hawaii, TruthPlane and Mark Bowden. And Mark, we hope to get you back and talk a little bit more about how to get ahead with body language.
I'll come back and speak to you via video, and I certainly want to come and say hello to everybody in real life on Hawaii. So I'll see you all very, very soon.
Okay, Mark. Thanks very much, and hui ho.
Thanks very much to you.
All right. Aloha.
Make sure to subscribe to Hawaii Boss and follow us on social media at Hawaii Boss Podcast at the links in the description. We'll see you soon in the boss's office.